Thinking about what Thomas just shared around, managing our weight as we, enter into the 50s and 60s and beyond, and thinking about, you were talking earlier about some of the weight loss drugs, right? And how folks are using those, and it's a great tool to manage weight. But what are some of the other things? I love what you were sharing earlier.
I think it's critical. Right now, we have more tools at our disposal to lose weight faster than ever before, whether it's the GLP-1s, the triple agonists that are going to be coming out. They're going to be so many pharmaceutical solutions for that. You won't be able to throw a rock without hitting one. Now the question becomes, how long do you need to be on it? Should you be on it forever? Or can you titrate it off and replace it with sustainable lifestyle change? I've got lots of thoughts on that.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Second Half Podcast. My name is Thomas Griffin.
And I am Andrea McGordon.
And we talk to people about what's going on with individuals 50 and older. What's the future look like? What is your health about? What are you doing financially? And today we have a guest that I am so excited to talk to because he's a multifaceted humanoid, which means not only is he in the medical field, but he has done some stuff outside the medical field that makes you say, oh my God, I can't believe he's done that. Sir, Mr. Hunley. Nope, that's not it.
Hungate.
Hungate. And I'm on Hunley because that's the girl we had last time.
The blooper. I love it. We're racking him up. I love it.
Okay. Today, our guest is Joel Hungate, unless you want to call him something else, and he has other names. We won't get into that. Hey, Joel, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Always better than we deserve, right? But gosh, so excited for the conversation today, too.
You know what? Sometimes in life, you run across people that have that good or positive energy, and Joel is oozing with good and positive energy. So I guess we're going to just get into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to learn more about who you are, what you do. Please share.
Oh gosh, well, where to begin? So, husband, father. I have twins that are 8. My youngest is 6, so they keep me on my feet. Wow. Right in the middle of baseball season too, which everybody knows never ends.
Okay. so twins, boy, girl, two boys, two girls?
Boy, girl, and my youngest 6 is a little girl. So Max and I, he's my son, we're definitively outnumbered.
Okay, well, you're in the club. My twins are 40 years old.
Oh my goodness!
And so those are my babies. So I kick them out of the house and make them go do something.
Now, did you go from 0 to twin, or did you have children beforehand?
No.
Okay,
that's the twins were the crescendo.
Oh, God bless you.
So I go from 49 to 40. And I got 6 of them all in there somewhere.
God bless you. Well, my only solace with twins was we went from 0 to twin. So I had no idea how much extra work I was doing until the third one showed up, and I'm like, oh, one baby. This is the way.
Fantastic.
True or not so much, right?
So are you a Hoosier?
So I was born and raised Hancock County. I grew up on a hobby farm and a hog farm out there. And I'm a Purdue grad, so biomedical engineer by trade. And my career's been very atypical because I've always found that when you go into the room, I like to look left, I like to look right, and say, a lot of impressive people in here. What are they not doing? Right? What's the angle? What's that unfair advantage? What's the differentiator? So I tried so hard, and I got into the biomedical engineering program at Purdue. It was brand new. And I walked in, I said, wow, a lot of smart people in this room. Wonder what they're not doing. Social skills, sales, presentation ability, business. So I really doubled down on this idea of how can I take a technical background, really augment it with the interpersonal side, augment it with my love for people as purpose, right? And then that got me into medical device. I worked in orthopedics for just under a decade. Took me all over the country, landed in Kansas City. And then I was going to the office one day, and there's this thing next to me. It's called the Dynamic Athletic Research Institute, DARI, D-A-R-I. And I thought, I wonder what that is, right? I'm a biomedical engineer. I like the sports performance side of things, human performance. So I'm doing orthopedics at the time. I wander in, there are 2 brothers in there, and they're using this computer vision technology to try to predict and prevent ACL tears in NFL athletes. So if you can imagine, you step into a space, it puts a skeleton over the body, you watch people move, take them through a battery of movements, it presents a report, it says, oh, here are the asymmetries, deficiencies, imbalances, just from the eye in the sky, no sensors, no force plates. So I said, guys, when you're ready to take this into healthcare, call me. So 2015, 2016, had a chance to hop in as a principal of the company, invested. And then we were able to, that was sold to a venture operating group in 2018. And then I started doing venture consulting and venture capital, flying around, working with companies.
So were you an athlete in high school? Or?
I was. So a little high school. I went to Eastern Hancock High School, and it was fantastic. Wouldn't trade it for the world. My kids are going there one of these days as well. And we live out in that same district I grew up in, actually. Nice. It's so good to be back in Central Indiana. But I was a football, basketball, baseball player. Didn't play in college, had some opportunities too, but I decided I wanted to do the engineering route. And so that got me traveling all over the place. Well, then when the twins were on their way, we said, okay, we need to be in Indiana. So we come back home. My wife works for Eli Lilly. She's a chemical engineer and does AI transformation over there, which is a whole other topic. And so we come home and twins are born, rock and roll, still traveling quite a bit. Third one is born in 2020. And I said, okay, guys, it's zone coverage. I need to be home. And I had just the absolute blessing to hop on in a leadership capacity at Hancock Health, working on this idea of integrated well-being. And it is, what if the future of healthcare looks an awful lot like not needing very expensive healthcare? Right. What if we could keep people healthy early and often? And then, God forbid, you need something. It's hub and spoke, not this miserable carousel of go from provider to provider, provider, prescription to prescription. What if home base was a wellness center? And then we could take you to the appropriate point of care, intervene, and then invest in you and your family not needing that intervention again.
Yeah, I love that, because one of the greatest costs that any family can face today is around healthcare. Yes. So to kind of have this more comprehensive, holistic approach could be so beneficial. Talk to us about how a family or an individual might approach care with Hancock Health related to what the program that you're describing.
I love that question, because anybody that's dealt with healthcare, it's not known for being a flowery consumer experience, right? And the problem is healthcare only works if you are your own advocate.
Yeah.
And if you're not your own advocate, the cavalry's not coming. Right. And I think that's so critical for the audience that's listening, is that if you've ever felt lost in healthcare, a lot of it is designed for you to take action, to take that accountability and to stand in that gap for yourself. So we ask that question. We say, what if we could bridge that gap for people? What if home base for health looked an awful lot like a wellness center membership or access to a direct primary care clinic that your employer can make available to you or you could purchase as a consumer? And imagine you pay one set price for unlimited primary care. First Start medications are included in that. First Start, if you needed labs, it could be included in that on the formulary that's provided. Your wellness center membership, where you're accessing physical activity, nutrition, community. What if that was a part of your healthcare experience, right? And now you don't feel so alone, at the very least. And in the best case scenario, we're giving you every reason to say yes and stay yes, as we love to say, to all the things that are going to make your health go from lifespan to health span. And it's a concept of the quality of life and expanding that quality of life longer. And all the medications, all the prescriptions, all the incredible interventions that we have, if I can stem the tide of you needing that, and you're buying back more quality years with your family, doing the things you love, now we're treating health as a means, not an end.
Yeah.
When we think of health as an end goal, it never works. We all know we should be healthier. Hey, Thomas, we should eat better, right? It's like, yep, I know, but is that sufficiently motivating? But when health becomes the means to unlock adventure, to unlock that trip you've always wanted to take, to pick up your grandkids without pain and go to their baseball games, do whatever it is that you think you want in life. When health is the means and not the end, incredible things happen.
So is that something you're doing in Hancock County or something you're hoping to do?
Yeah.
I love this question. I'm going to say, yes, we're doing it, and we're doing it at a level that is leading the world. People come from all over the world to see what we're doing at Hancock Wellness Centers and within this Hancock Wellbeing ecosystem that we're describing. I've dubbed it the infrastructure of well-being, right? If we can have all kinds of legislation about infrastructure bills, well, why don't we have one for well-being? So we called it the infrastructure of well-being. And the reason, now I'll come back to your question, I say yes to both, because I don't think we're done. We're never done. We're always building and amplifying and evolving. So I think it can always be better. But right now, we treat those wellness centers as home base for health, as that first stop. And we treat it as a physician multiplier for outcomes. as an extension of our physicians at Hancock Health. They have exercise physiologists, incredible, 3 campuses dedicated, over 125,000 square feet, dedicated purely across 3 campuses to physical activity, nutrition, healthcare education, community, to wrapping expertise around your physical fitness journey, and then connecting you to all of those resources seamlessly across the best of what Hancock Health offers as a comprehensive, independent healthcare system serving East Central and Central Indiana. And when you bring all that together, you can count on your hand the number of health systems that have invested in that level of proactive infrastructure in the nation.
Yeah.
And that's why people come from all over the place. And even in current federal administration, we're having incredible conversations about what does this look like when scaled to every community?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, not just having this incredible infrastructure we built over 15 years, really. And we have 12 years of a clinical exercise program where we literally prescribe exercise to patients. And we've saved patients over $1 million over that period of time. It's incredible. Getting ahead of these problems before they become big, scary, and expensive is how we're going to fix healthcare in the United States.
One of the recent statistics, I think it came out maybe over the last couple of months, is that for the first time, the United States has a negative net migration for the first time in a very long time. And a lot of that is around what you're describing, healthcare. People are relocating to other countries because they're addressing healthcare issues. What you're describing is cutting edge because maybe other countries have something similar that we're now bringing to the United States. Can you kind of speak to that?
Oh, yeah. So there's an entire arbitrage happening right now with that exodus of medical tourism. And other countries that have systems that say, hey, look, our healthcare doesn't have the pre-baked costs that our system has. And a way too brief history of this to give you an idea on why healthcare is difficult right now and will continue to be unless something changes. Our model is fee for service. You get paid the more that you intervene, right? So everybody sees that that's a negative incentive. And then think about the primary way people afford healthcare is through insurance. Insurance companies, right, wrong, or indifferent, their fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders is to not pay your claim if they can help it, because that's money going out the door versus money saved from the premiums they collect. And again, part of the puzzle, but what we've built is this ecosystem of antagonistic entities where the consumer is pointing at the healthcare system saying, why are you balance billing me? It's too expensive. And we're pointing at the insurance company and be like, well, they didn't pay us. And they're saying, well, why would I pay? You shouldn't have done that. Everybody's blaming everyone else instead of saying, well, what if we didn't need the expensive intervention in the first place, right? Right?
Proactive and not reactive.
Yes,
exactly.
That's right.
And that's what I think a lot of other countries have had the benefit and the head start on us to say, well, our systems and their systems rather could be built around intervening in the most minimal effective dose way. Now, it does things to innovation. I think we have the greatest healthcare system on the planet when it comes to access to innovative interventions. But we've done up to this point a poor job of balancing that with cost and access for everyone. The equity side of that is a real problem. The idea that healthcare accessed in a way where we meet people where they are and we don't leave them there, right? That it's proximate to the needs of a community. That's why I'm a firm believer healthcare will always be a local problem with a local solution.
So is this concept something that you created, a group of you all put together, and if it is you, whomever, is it something that's a template that can be rolled out to other areas or parts of the state or the country or whatever?
Oh, I love that question, Thomas. We have I stand on the shoulders of giants in this space. I would credit a lot of it to the medical fitness model, something that you can go back to and the origins of the medical fitness model up in Akron, Ohio, and Cleveland Clinic area, and a gentleman by the name of Doug Ribley, who's become a dear friend and helped us stand up our model at Hancock Health, is the idea of surround wellness. What if you integrated physical activity, nutrition, healthcare education into a health system as services designed to help the patient navigate life early and often without only having your interactions with the health system being big, scary, and expensive? Right? We're always going to need big, scary, and expensive because we're never going to stop all of the things that require that, right?
That's right.
I'd love a world where we eradicate cancer. We're not there yet. We still need services that help patients navigate that, treat that, and ideally early and often so that they get to buy back more of that life that was threatening to be taken from them, right? But what if healthcare shifted to the point where your knee-jerk reaction was, my most cost-effective insurance is investing in myself and my family every single week with some strength training, getting out and walking after dinner, access to healthy food and understanding not just, hey, thanks for the bag of produce. What do I do with it? How do I prepare it? We have a joke. We do a Produce RX program, and we have integrated a technology that allows us, and we're just starting this. So going to the how we're evolving, we're starting this program where we, and the company's called Anu. They're an Indiana company. It is rotary aeroponics, the same system that's on NASA's space station endeavors. Like little K-cups, but with plant seeds in them, we can grow produce, hundreds of pounds of produce harvested every month, beyond organic. A human being never touches it. But we don't want to just give people produce. Our dietitians arm them with, how do you prepare it?
Yeah.
We have cooking classes. And we joke because we would do these produce prescriptions before we had this capability. And you get a bag of kale or a bag of rutabagas, and people be like, well, what do I do with this? I thank you. And it sits on the counter, it rots. It doesn't help anybody, right? So it's always that question of, if we're going to solve this problem, we got to understand people. We have to understand their challenges. And putting my venture capital hat on, you don't want to be a solution looking for problems, right?
I like that.
You go to find what are the problems, not just in general. What are the problems your people in your community are facing?
Yeah.
And everyone listening today, and all of us in the room, we can be a part of that future of health by saying, well, what if I stand in the gap for what my people need in the community? What if I do that for my family? What if I do that for myself? We do that, that catches on. We become a more ready society. We're stronger. We're more fit. Healthcare costs less.
Yes.
We're solving this problem. That translates less burden on the taxpayer. That translates less burden on our families, on our employers. More quality of life. It is the rising tide that floats all the boats, and that includes economic development. And that's what I love about healthcare. All the spheres converge in healthcare, whether we know it or not.
That's right.
So we got to take it seriously.
Yeah, so, I love that.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm amazed with. You're a smart guy. Then you're educator / businessman. And then on top of all that, you're a healthy guy that chooses to be healthy. So how did all that take place? How did you bring all those parts together?
Well, it's funny. My by night, what do? I do crazy survivalist and mountaineering endeavors. Why is an excellent question, Thomas. For the view. For the taste of river mussels in Southeast Alaska. Well, it's funny. When you have that confluence of technical know-how and confidence, when you have this idea of nobody can take my physical fitness from me if I invest in that, it's just like investing in your education. That's something nobody can take from you. And if I take it seriously, it opens up these doors for me to say yes to adventure, where health becomes the means to be like, can I get out and climb that mountain? And as an Indiana kid, go figure, I became a mountaineer. I loved mountains. I was so drawn to the idea that can you go to the place and put one foot in front of the other? And then as an engineer, I love the problem solving. I love the idea that I have to outthink the elements, the route. Same with survival. You're trying to survive just using whatever resources you have either in the wilderness or at hand. It is the ultimate highest stakes game of problem solving.
So are you, is that your, what do you call it? Your big charge? Is it endorphins? What you say, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't get high, but I'll climb a mountain.
I'll climb mountains. I'm jumping out of planes. Definitely an adrenaline junkie. Yes. And I think, who was it? Kotler, if you're familiar with flow state, and they talk about flow, then this idea that there's an entire economy of us substituting and finding things to substitute that thrill in our lives. Basically, it's a vacuum for adventure that folks will fill with substances. They'll fill with bad habits, right? They'll fill with, you're chasing that dragon. You don't know that you could fill it with things like physical activity, something positive, your faith, connecting with people, connecting with community. And this idea that marketplace that exists, there are so many different avenues that want to monetize that need, that hole inside of you. So many people waiting to say, come over here. We'll give it to you in the form of endless streaming, endless dopamine fixes of watching Jimmy Chin hang from some foreboding peak in the Karakoram. But you don't realize that you can do it too.
You do it yourself. Exactly. So with that having been said, I'm going to ask one more question and I'll let you talk.
Okay.
So you're a TV superstar.
Yeah. So you got to talk about the Netflix special.
Well, it's so funny. So having that confluence, that physical fitness, right, and taking it seriously, and then investing in myself to say, can I build the confidence and the technical know-how to survive, to climb these mountains, to put yourself into situations where often other human beings haven't been before? I had the privilege of somehow, Lord willing, getting on a mountaineering team out of the United Kingdom that then climbed an unclimbed peak in Western Mongolia. And that's a tale in and of itself. So you can imagine you're flying into Mongolia, you take this little mud skipper into this Islamic outpost called Ulgi, you get in these Russian amphibious vehicles and you go you go into the wilderness 6 hours, then 25 kilometers into this valley to the base of this horrifying mountain. You barter with local Kazakh herdspeople to get camels and ponies. You put all your stuff on the back of these critters. You march into this valley to the foot of this mountain that's never been climbed. It's been attempted 3 times.
Wow.
And then you're there and you end up, after we attempt to climb it, there's a horrible rock slide. I have a member of my team with an open fracture at 10,200 feet. And you have to get her up to advanced base camp on a glacier, set the fracture, wrap her leg up. You walk out of the tent with your Northern Irishman team lead and he says, all right, mate, game face. You're carrying her down tomorrow. And he's a dear friend still and incredible. I was the least impressive person on this team, far and away. And we exfiltrate this individual with an injury. 3 hours down the glacier, step, pick her up, swing the lady, plant the ice axe. If we fail, if we start to slide, if we fall, we're careening off of this 100-foot ice face into oblivion. So stakes are high, right? We somehow get her down by the grace of God. We get her out of this valley. And it was faster to belay her down, put her on a horse, retrace that route back to the amphibious vehicles, back to Ulgi, back onto a turboprop airplane for surgery in Ulaanbaatar than it was to get a helicopter from Russia or China or Kazakhstan or any of the near peer nations. They didn't have any of those assets available to us. So you go through all of that. We come back, we take a day off, and we're like, okay, we're going to climb this mountain. Well, we climbed it, and we got to name it. And we named it Mountain Zuchi, which means guest in Mongolian. And very difficult language, by the way. I don't suggest Mongolian as a second language. I can barely pronounce it. But you do that. I shared this story on social media, and I got connected to a casting director that they were looking for folks for this new show concept. And I kid you not, the conversation was like, hey, we've heard your story. And we're filming this crazy show, and you seem like a crazy person.
Okay.
So would you be interested? And I'm like, go on. So the next thing you know, you're being dropped into Southeast Alaska on this first of its kind show concept with Netflix that has become Outlast. So Outlast, it was the most popular show on the planet in their adventure survival category. I think it was number 2 in all of Netflix that year in 2023 when it launched. But the idea behind the show was dropping you into the wilderness with nothing but the clothes on your back. You have to form into teams, and the only rule was you cannot win by yourself. Ready, break. So I described the show as an incredible mix of personalities. It's like Survivor meets Alone meets Lord of the Flies because there really aren't rules.
Lord of the Flies is scary.
It's scary, and it got scary. And people find me all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're that guy from Naked and Afraid." I'm like, "Look, I was definitely naked at some point, and I was afraid, but just not at once, not all at the same time, right?" But this idea of, can you put yourself on the very edge of what you are capable of, what human beings may be capable of? Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Can you solve that problem? Earn your way to the next day. Earn your way to the next milestone. And can you do that without losing who you are in the process? That for me.
I got a crazy question.
Yeah.
And then I promise.
Did you win? Did you win?
Well, the season's been out long enough. I will say this is a shameless plug for Netflix. I'm not paid for this. Season 3 of Outlast is coming out this week. So June 10th, I believe.
Okay.
So season 3 is coming out. They're in the jungle. They're not in Southeast Alaska anymore. I can tell you, I did not win under moral protest.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting how,
Well, here's my
that's
question.
a whole other story.
How did you get permission as a father and a husband to carry your body?
You're behind.
Because you are not going on this.
And not just once, but twice. I mean, you did the first one, and then
no, my wife is a trooper on that front. Well, and she had always known and supported the fact that if you're going to answer that call to adventure, I can't do it without that support of her saying, "Hey, hon, go."
Yeah,
you need to say yes to that.
She knew who she married.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for long or different, she's still around. Thank goodness. Yeah. God bless. I don't know why. I way outkicked my coverage on that one. Yeah. But to that point, the Netflix show was a real deal. I remember talking to producers and saying, "Guys, you're filming the wrong stuff. The real survival is back home." At the time when I went out to Southeast Alaska, I was there for 45 days. days of no contact. And you're living in the wilderness. I'm living off of river mussels. We're making fire and shelters and all this. My wife she had 3 children under 3, twins at the time that, gosh, would have been just turning 5. Or sorry, when I was out there, they were 3. And then our youngest was an infant at the time.
Wow.
And then by the time it aired, they were 5 and 2. So
were you a Boy Scout or just country living?
Country living.
Made it work for you?
Yeah, for us, it's funny. It's just kind of what we grew up doing.
Okay.
Grew up hunting and fishing and being out in the woods and camping. Those skills, whether it's campcraft, fire making, all of that. This is what we did for fun. We would go outside and do that. And it's been so much fun to take that and kind of hopscotch your way into building, I have this concept. It's like adventure readiness or this adventure genome idea. You start to get these building blocks of capability or skill sets that then unlock opportunities or experiences for you down the road. I had such a head start because we grew up doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? So would you do it again?
Oh, gosh. And in a heartbeat. Now, I don't know my wife would sign me up again.
All right.
She's like, hey, listen.
Been there, done that?
You had your shot.
You had your shot.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very bullish if Netflix calls and says, hey, we're thinking about an all-star season or giving folks another chance at a different format or a different version of Outlast that brings people back. It'd be hard to say no.
Get out of here.
I love that because, the sense of adventure, when we think about folks over the age of 50, maybe we start to lose a little bit of sight around seeking adventure, but it's a good reminder that at every age and every stage of life, there should be something happening that kind of creates adventure in our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that you mentioned our folks over 50, right? In the second half, right?
Yeah.
The adventure is waiting for you. It's out there. You are not precluded from that. And this is the biggest aha moment. And it's like anybody that's a boxer, if you've ever done any martial art of any sort. I did Muay Thai briefly. I was in Muay Thai club at Purdue, right?
Wait.
Yeah.
So you're a genius.
I don't know about that.
You started a company.
Biomedical engineer.
You go into the wilderness, and now you can beat people up.
I might be 170 pounds dripping wet. I bet they'd get me if I'm not careful. I gotta be fast. But the thing is, and I use this example all the time, but it's so true. If you've ever done a martial art and you take that first punch and you realize you're not made of glass, there's this sort of freeing aha moment, like, oh, the worst thing that I thought could happen to me just happened, and I'm okay.
Powerful.
Adventure's the same way. You are capable of so much more adventure than you give yourself credit for. And I even tell myself that. I can tell myself, gosh, this is tough, or, I shouldn't go any farther, or shouldn't go any faster. And then I have to check myself and say, well, is that me, or is that really the upper bounds of what I'm capable of, right? And for your second half, you're capable of so much. That Overton window of quality of life and amassing the experiences and the adventures that you want, that door doesn't shut at 50. So, that window is moving and capturing those most powerful years of your life where you have the wisdom, you have the experience, you can have oftentimes the financial freedom. Don't sleep on making sure that you have the physical capability to go do it.
That's what I was going to ask you. So how would you motivate a 71-year-old guy that's 30 pounds overweight or so to do not everyone to do what you do. To do something else.
Seek your own level of adventure.
It's the second half of the game. I want to get off the
That's it. As soon as they throw you out of the helicopter into the wilderness,
you want to make it to the third half.
As you rappel into the caverns. I love that. And that's it. That is the heart of this, is that finding what's that version of land and then expand. And what I mean by landing and expanding is whatever that version of adventure looks like right now. It could be saying, you know what, I've always wanted to go fish at this place I can go to Fort Bend and I want to fish. I'm going to get a fishing license. I'm going to learn how to do that. That could be the very first step. It could be, hey, I want to get out and I want to start walking around the block after dinner. And I just want to see something new. I want to be outside. Well, we have a doctor at one of our panels. I thought she put it brilliantly. Dr. Strong, she said, find something you like to do outside that you can keep doing, right? And it hits all the things, right? You get outside, you like to do it, you're moving, find that thing, say yes to that, and then use that as a license to start to land there and then expand that capability.
Outside, and continue to grow it.
I'm silly. I'm just thinking about, can I throw rocks at the kids in my neighborhood because they got on my grass?
That's it. You see, you start there and then you start chasing them.
There you go. Maybe you start with the chase and not the rocks. We don't want you to end up on
don't go too fast.
on the news. Yeah. Well, thinking about what Thomas just shared around, managing our weight as we, enter into the 50s and 60s and beyond, and thinking about, you were talking earlier about some of the weight loss drugs, right?
Yeah,
and how folks are using those, and it's a great tool to manage weight. But what are some of the other things? I love what you were sharing earlier.
I think it's critical. Right now, we have more tools at our disposal to lose weight faster than ever before, whether it's the GLP-1s, the triple agonists that are going to be coming out. There are going to be so many pharmaceutical solutions for that. You won't be able to throw a rock without hitting one. Now the question becomes, how long do you need to be on it? Should you be on it forever? Or can you titrate it off and replace it with sustainable lifestyle change? I've got lots of thoughts on that. The second one is, as we're losing weight, no matter what kind of weight loss it is, even if it's normal weight loss, it's never all just body fat. You also lose muscle. And now imagine you're losing it very, very quickly, and you're not replacing it with sustained lifestyle change. We can leave ourselves in a situation where we've replaced being overweight with being frail. And frailty, many of us, and especially in the healthcare space, we're terrified of the frailty epidemic that could start to happen if we don't start taking resistance training seriously. Resistance training sounds scary, right? It sounds like, gosh, I don't want to go to the gym with all the gym bros and be doing power cleans and overhead snatches and all that stuff. That's not what it has to look like. It could be as simple as some body weight squats, getting out and moving, buy a kettlebell or a sandbag and picking it and just walking with it, learning to do a kettlebell swing, something very simple can help keep your body strong, keeps bone density higher, builds muscle, because frailty will be the number one delimiter for that quality of life that we were talking about before. It's when people start to become afraid to run and walk, and when they start to not be able to ambulate, when you start to become a fall risk. A fall and a fracture increases mortality rates by, and depending on what type, like a hip fracture, for instance, it can bump mortality, the risk, by 30% just because of that fracture.
Two questions.
What about the triple M? What is that?
So, and apologies for all the acronyms coming from healthcare. I got to take my healthcare hat off real quick. Right now, the GLP-1s, you think of those like the weight loss medications, Ozempic, right? And the same version of that's specifically weight loss. Ozempic is for diabetes, weight loss is Wegovy. It's the same peptide. And then Lilly has an incredible version, which is tirzepatide, right? And that's Mounjaro and
Zepbound.
Zepbound, yes. So you have Mounjaro and Zepbound. There's an entire other class of medications that are going to be coming out. There's all kinds. We call them like triple agonists or whatever. The idea is that you're going to have other pharmaceuticals that use other pathways to accelerate weight loss and sometimes even dampen what happens with the loss of muscle in that process too. There's all kinds of interesting therapeutics that are coming out on that front. The question is, and what we always say is, the best solution, it could be the best in the world if you can't afford it and if you can't sustain it. Doesn't matter, right? I can have the best program on the planet. If you can't sustain what we do, doesn't matter. You'll be good for a little bit and you've solved a problem, but it's a Band-Aid. You need to get a medical partners. And this is what we do at Hancock Wellness very, very well. And what we do in our direct primary care clinics, what we call Wellbeing at Work. Our medical director, Dr. Lori Deemer, is a lifestyle medicine certified physician. She has bariatric experience. She's focused on not just using the medication, but how do we use it as a flywheel to get that weight loss going, and then say, but what if we don't have to depend on it forever? What if then we could wrap all those other wellness amenities around you?
So good.
And you can start to replace dependence on that medication long term with lifestyle change, with physical activity, community, and nutrition.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but so are you a proponent of some of these types of medications? Because I don't like taking any pills. Any pills. And so that's just me and my preference.
Which that's a blessing. That you can.
I'm of the opinion I'm trying to depend on pharmaceuticals the least I possibly can. And the Lord has blessed me exceedingly in the sense that I haven't had a chronic condition or hereditary condition that's required any maintenance medication. The way I view it, everything is a tool in the toolbox that has to be tailored to what your goal happens to be, the reason for health, right? So why do we need to lose the weight, right? And like we said before, just to be healthier, maybe, but not I don't think that's a sufficient end goal. Is it to live a better quality of life? Is it to keep the wolves of early death at bay? Mm-hmm. Is it to do the things that we talked about before, setting a goal and achieving it? Mm-hmm. I'm a believer that these medications represent the fastest flywheel that we can get turning. Now let's use that quickly if you can afford it and if it makes sense for you and if you tolerate the medicine. Get the flywheel turning, and then let's titrate off the medication.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to push back on you a little bit in this regard. I see a lot of the folks that I went to high school with that as they get older, they're losing weight. Yeah. And it seems like losing weight is the curse of the old. Yeah. Because, if you're a robust individual, that's a nice way to say chunky. And then all of a sudden I see you're getting skinnier and skinnier and then you pass. Mm-hmm. So does that mean that, as we get older, we're going to lose weight anyway?
Yeah, no, this is a wonderful question. I think what we're seeing, and you have to think about all of this. I'm going to go a little bit like an engineer on you here. Mm-hmm. This is a probability problem. Mm-hmm. It is an opportunity surface area is what we deal with when we talk about health, because I can't predict and prevent everything, right? But I can prevent that opportunity surface area for bad things happening to people by helping control the behaviors we know are connected to those bad things, right? So we know obesity early and often puts stress on the body cardiovascularly, metabolically. So when you think about your liver, think about your heart, think about your lungs and your lung capacity, we know it's a doorway for other conditions to start to happen to folks. But at the same time, what you were just describing, it's that frailty. Right. That happens, you have to strike the balance between how do I think about not just what I weigh, but what is my body made of? Because if I can replace body fat with lean skeletal muscle mass, I may not lose weight, but I'm stronger. Right. And this is the biggest aha moment for people that go through our clinical exercise program. And quick plug for that. If you need a head start and you're in Hancock County, come see us, have your physician refer you to our clinical exercise program. 8 weeks, 3 times a week with an exercise physiologist. You'll be in a small group setting with people that are on a similar journey as you. And that program changes people's lives. If we see such a change for people that are diabetic, that if I were an FDA cleared pharmaceutical, I would be affecting the same amount of change.
So this is something you recommend.
We literally recommend, in our clinical exercise program, we see the same level of change in A1C, which measures, we use that as a measure for diabetes. If you have an A1C over 7.5, right? We start to think about that as diabetic. 6.5, we think about pre-diabetes. We see people change that by 1.5 percentage points. That would get me cleared by the FDA to be a pharmaceutical for anti-diabetes medication. We do it with physical activity and nutrition in 8 weeks. It's an incredible program. And it gets that flywheel turning for people.
And is that a program that's covered by insurance, or is it an out-of-pocket expense?
Yeah. So that program right now, insurance doesn't cover it. I'm really bullish with some of the conversations that are happening at the federal level currently on this idea of what if we started to think about programs like this as a physician extender? So more to come on that. But right now, that program is $60 for 60 days.
That's very affordable,
and it's for us, we use it as a way, there's no making money on that program. We know that program meets people where they are, elevates them to the point where it could change their life. And if we weren't doing it, we weren't fulfilling our mission as Hancock Health to make our communities the healthiest in Indiana and the nation.
I love that.
Do you have to live in Hancock County?
You don't.
That's awesome.
As long as you can make it to one of our facilities we'll see in the program, any practitioner can refer you as well. So you can be outside of Hancock Health and a practitioner can fill out a referral form. But for folks with diabetes, balance issues, cardiovascular conditions, we even have programming for folks that are perinatal. So say you're pregnant and you want to keep exercising while you're pregnant, or you just had a baby and you want to, how do I exercise safely after that? We have programs for almost every specialized condition you can think of. And it's helping people get that flywheel turning and then become so confident. What we really sell, it's, you'll get incredible biometric changes. The real power of this program is you develop the confidence to take control of your health.
You know what? I love $60 for 60
days.
Yes.
That's an investment in your health.
We're going to add something
Absolutely.
else. $60, 60 days for 60-year-olds.
For 60,
Like, come on
or
now.
50-year-olds.
Come on, let's go. Well, and that's the thing. That program is tailored for wherever you are on your journey.
Yeah.
No matter your age, we have people in that program that are actively battling cancer. They're going through cancer treatment. We actually have a specific certification our exercise physiologists have just went through to serve cancer patients with exercise.
Wow.
It's incredible. All the way to Olympic lifting, CrossFit bro, anybody in between. Yeah, there is something for everybody in the facility, but that clinical exercise program gives you the head start on taking control of your health with physical activity that just doesn't exist in so many places. So come on, if that could serve somebody, come on down. We will find a way to get you in that program. We want to talk to you. But to that point about the medication, if you don't need the medication, don't take it.
Right.
Don't take it, please. And I'm the same way because I think about healthcare. It can't happen in the bubble of I have to solve this specific problem with this specific pharmaceutical. You have to think about the cost. You have to think about the sustainability. I have to think about, is this a solution that's going to match where me and my family are right now? Can I afford the medication?
Well,
can I do this?
Thing that drives me crazy is what drugs do we have that don't have a side effect?
The side effects, right? Because by the time, you hear about. So one of the things that we've been talking about, I know we're almost ready to wrap up if I'm not mistaken, but we talk a lot about mental health, right? And I love your program because I would imagine that you see benefits around mental health improvement as well. Can you kind of speak to that?
Oh, it's incredible. And especially for the second half, one of the questions we get all the time, and right now, really hot button topic. We've partnered with the Alzheimer's Association for an initiative we've called A Year of Cognitive Fitness. So they just released the Pointer Study. And if you get a chance, Google the Pointer Study for anybody listening today. It talks about the 10 brain health habits that you can adopt in physical fitness, in nutrition, in community. All of mental health. You cannot treat the person in a vacuum without thinking about mental health, right? And what I think is so powerful about Hancock Health and the approach we've taken with this infrastructure of well-being is that it gives you the community of people that are on a similar journey as you. When you walk into the facility, you walk in your class, you see people that look like you. It's not all heavy weightlifting guys. It's not all clinical populations. You will find somebody in our setting that is right where you are, and you can find community in that. And when you find community, and when we think about the person as a function of the battle we have to win up here too, we can also wrap our amenities like our connection center, our behavioral health service lines, and our exercise physiologists, and our trainers, and the people that are involved in delivering this type of care, which, make no mistake, it is healthcare. We've confused ourselves for so long in thinking about fitness as not healthcare. It is healthcare. They treat the whole person in that regard. And when you do that, it unlocks all of these doors for amplifying your outcome. You will get there faster. You will find fulfillment. And again, this idea of purpose and this idea of that second half that I found when you take accountability for yourself on that front, it opens the door for me to take responsibility and accountability for things outside of myself.
Yes.
And I love, Jordan Peterson has a great take on this, the clinical psychologist, if you're not familiar with him, that he defines purpose. I think it's a really clever definition of purpose as directly proportional to the amount of accountability or responsibility you take outside of yourself, right? And what I tell people all the time is, if you've ever seen foundations, right? A foundation for a house, foundation being built, they don't just appear, do they? Right? Foundations are a critical thing. We have to build a foundation that is mental, physical, spiritual in our lives. And how we build that foundation is directly proportional to the height of the structure.
So good.
Where you want to go depends on the foundation.
Yeah.
You can't build a skyscraper on the foundation for my house, right?
It's got to be strong.
I got 100-foot pilings I have to go in, right? If I'm going to build a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Your ability to affect change in your community, to take accountability beyond yourself, is a function of that foundation. And you take accountability for yourself and you invest in your physical capabilities, your mental, your spiritual. You take control of your financial destiny on that front. You build a foundation that won't have an upper bound. There won't be a ceiling you got to bust through. That allows you to say yes and stay yes to those things that are a function of purpose.
Say yes and stay yes.
Yeah, I heard that
I
too.
love
Did
it.
you hear it?
And that idea of thinking about all of this as the foundation, that is your jumping off point for the impact you're going to have on your family and in your life and in your community, that's purpose ready-made.
Right.
Yeah.
Just add you taking the next step.
Because you're leading by example.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got one more question with this example. So currently, you're a young guy. What do you do? Are you in the gym every day? Are you walking every day? Do you have a routine that I may not be able to do? But a routine that you do personally, and then a routine that you would suggest?
Absolutely. So I am all about minimal effective dose. And for me, the aha moment, and this the literature, the data, the research supports this. The 50% of the change and the benefit that you see from adopting a more active lifestyle isn't going from couch potato to Olympic athlete. It is going from couch potato to potato. I kid you not. There are journals that support this since 1980s. The data shows that just going from inactive to some level of activity, consistent activity, is the minimal effective dose for getting that flywheel turning. Right? So for me, what's that look like? I do strength training 2 times a week. And I do full body. I'm big on Olympic lifting. I was a football player. I love it. And my coaches were really good about training a proper Olympic lifting movement. So I still love those lifts. I'm not a tall guy, so I love to squat and I love to deadlift because I don't have that far to go. So I can be like, look at all that weight. So I love doing strength training 2 times a week. That's all I do. 2 times a week, full body. I play basketball in between.
That's cardio.
I love basketball for cardio. I like, and when I feel like my shiftiness is starting to lag or whatever, I may intersperse some speed training or whatever, but it's seriously for my cardio. I either play basketball, I do a lot of coaching for my kiddos. I coach a lot of baseball, a lot of basketball, football coming up eventually. But if I need cardio, I'm not a big fan of running, so I don't run a lot. I love to walk. I like to get out and I hike if I can go hike. And if I have the chance to get out in the wilderness, I'll do that as my survivalist pinch on. But my thing is, I have a kettlebell and I will do kettlebell swings. A Russian kettlebell swing is you grab a kettlebell, you bend and you swing it between your legs, you bring it up to about shoulder height, you do it again. Pick a weight that you can do 75 times. That'll be just as good as any cardio you're going to get. I promise you. And I do that as my auxiliary cardiovascular and strength training, and it's good for the posterior chain. It's all the muscles on the backside of the body. You need those to be strong to stay away from the frailty that we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I love about my program, if I lift 2 times a week, and I do some kettlebell work or I'm doing some cardio in between, I'm just being active, right? Being out and doing stuff. I've specifically tailored that I can keep that schedule. I don't have to keep doing 405 pounds on deadlift, but I can keep that schedule and I can keep those movements or I can keep that weight training well into the back half of my life, well into, Lord willing, many, many years beyond retirement, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm designing for now as knocking on the door of my 40s, right? I'm thinking sustainability. I'm thinking, because I know that if I burn out and I don't keep the flywheel moving, I'm not going to exercise.
Yeah.
I'll gain weight or I'll justify it because I'm busy or I got more work to do or whatever. If I'm not taking accountability for that now, if I don't build that muscle memory and that connective tissue of those good habits, it's hard to sustain, but it's never too late.
Yeah.
Never too late.
Then
you can start that tomorrow.
That's the most important and powerful thing about the conversation. It's never too late. If we're in our 50s, working, taking care of family, I think a lot of times we're talking to people who are kind of sandwiched in between caring for parents and also caring for kids and maybe even grandkids and then figuring out how to care for themselves simultaneously. So start small, right? Things that you can manage, but take care of yourself and do on a weekly basis. Focus on our mental health, maybe join this program with Hancock Health, investigate that, $60 for 60 days.
But for 60 and older.
Guaranteed
for 60 and older. Come on
if
now.
you commit, guaranteed to make a difference in your overall health outcomes and can create some consistency around that. Anything else that we should kind of be reminded
I'll
of?
tell you what we can say. So with everything we've talked about, is there any kind of information that you want to just pass on to our viewers to say, look, at least do this?
Yeah.
The minimal effective dose for me, walk for 10 minutes after dinner. Do that. Find a version of strength training that works for you. Because my vision for you and my hope for everybody listening is that you are strong, you're able to do those things that you want to do well beyond flipping over that 50-year-old mark, and you can sustain it. Don't sleep on strength training. Don't sleep on just taking a walk after dinner. And do not, for whatever, no matter where you go, no matter what happens, your life being a function of that foundation that we talked about, build a foundation that transcends your circumstance. Don't be a function of whatever circumstances dealt you. Say, what if I had something that my worth, my value, my future transcends the circumstance or the hand I'm dealt right now because I'm worth it?
Yes.
Because you are. And for me, I found that in my faith in Jesus, and the idea that transcends anything that life would throw at me has gotten me through the darkest of times. And I tell everybody, if you've fallen through the scaffolding of whatever you built for life and you got to land on that foundation, boop, you better hope it's firm. Right? And I know that one is.
And he is a firm foundation.
Oh, amen to that.
Amen.
So if I could leave you with that, there's nothing more important.
Yes, I love it.
The Second Half Podcast, where we always say the best is still ahead of us. We want to thank you for coming out and talking to us today. I don't have anything else to say.
Joel Hungate, I want to be like you when I grow up.
Well, that feeling's mutual, guys. It's been delightful.
Just your physical strength and all of the things that you've accomplished with your family and your career and certainly with your faith. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. We really appreciate it.
It was an absolute delight. Thank you, guys.
All right. The Second Half Podcast, powered by NO Power, Limb Studios, and the Indianapolis Recorder.